Hello, welcome to Roguebook. This is going to be a little first impressions video for you. I've been wanting to do content like this for a while. I've talked about it in Monster Train a bit, and so I'm going to do one for this game because I played it and I have a lot to say about it. So, format for this video, pretty straightforward. I'm going to go through this video should be about 30 minutes. I'm going to play through the first act equivalent in this game and tell you what I think about it. I got a lot of thoughts, and yeah, I'm gonna do this with games that I think are interesting, and if anything catches your guys' eyes, I will potentially make it a series, if I like the game as well. So yeah, without any further ado, let's do it, shall we? First, most important thing, first of all, for this game, I'm gonna show you the options menu, because there's a very important thing that I feel like most deck builders have that this one does not. But first of all, I should tell you about this game. This is a deck builder. It's kind of like Monster Train, where you have two decks that you pull from, two like card pools, similar in that way. You'll see as we get into it how it works, and it's got like a Slay the Spire 3-act style, but the way that you interact with the map is the real selling point to me. The minute-to-minute gameplay is fine. I think that it's pretty fun to do the combats. There's room for you to make good decisions. And the way that you interact with the map is really the portion where you get to do a lot of your work. So the options menu I want to harp on a little bit because so you can turn off screen shake, which I thought I did this already. That's kind of strange. You got language settings. You got a lot of these. I didn't actually look. You got English, Portuguese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Russian, Simplified Chinese, and Spanish. I'm gonna throw that in there for anyone whose native language isn't English. You can see if this game is in your language. There's one important piece though. Like, you got standard video settings, audio settings, all of that. You can adjust everything. There's no way, as far as I'm aware, to change animation speeds in this game, and I think that will be that'll be your big pain point if you are not if that's something you care about. There's no way to speed it up, and I think that it is a nuisance, but I don't think that it is so much that this game is not worth your time. And I'm hopeful that they will add in a way to speed up animations, something like that, because it hurts, as you'll see. I'll point it out in the game. I played my first run of this with a deck similar to Shiv's in Slay the Spire, and I was playing 12 or 13 cards a turn, and I had to play them one at a time very slowly, and it drug me down a little bit. There's a progression system. I have not gotten too far. I played one run, so you can see we have 3 heroes and then like an overall party progression. I don't know what the embellishments are yet. They have not been explained. And then there's a compendium to look at all of the cards. It looks like there are 4 heroes, and then gems and relics. So gems I'll explain when we get in. But let's hop into it, shall we? New run. I'm not going to give you a full run here because I want this video to not be... I imagine a run is going to take... Once you get good at the game, it's probably about an hour to an hour and a half. Maybe quicker if you're good, and it kind of depends on your deck as well. You spend a lot of time fighting with animations though, so you got to be a little patient. So I'm just going to click right on through this intro dialogue. This is your start area. You start as Shara the Dragon Slayer, and she is one of the characters with decks to play. I don't know if I can switch off of her, but I'm going to bring... I'm going to bring Sorako, because he's the one that I played with, and... Good choice! Each of your characters has a starting passive effect. Shara gains 3 power if she's leading, and Sorako, if he's in the front, gains 2 block. That'll make sense when you get into it. As far as I'm aware, you have to have 2 characters to start. Changing the story sounds interesting. I gotta talk to this man. Ah, here's how the meta progression works. I haven't actually seen this, so we will learn this real quick. So as you go through, you pick up these pages for killing enemies and defeating bosses, and it looks like you get overarching, like a talent tree to go through. Yeah, not too outlandish, right? Extra visible treasure in each chapter. I'm not gonna unlock too much of this. I'm actually just gonna leave it because I have to read through these and figure out what they do. But just here's a brief overview of what long-term progression is. It's a talent tree that you just go through and choose a bunch of perks. It looks like that'll change change your runs over time. It looks like seems fine. Let's go. This is your completed one story, but are still trapped within its pages. We must try harder and must journey into the epilogues. Okay. So this is your ascension style. It looks like. I didn't actually know if there was an ascension style in this game. 3 types of stories within the epilogues. Each time you explore beyond this gate, you may choose one of each. The Roguebook is generous in that you may choose any story or none at all. Okay, so someone explained this to me as similar to the way that Hades does it. Okay, yeah, so all elite battles are mandatory. All elites deal 20% more damage. On 2 extra fairies, all fairies are revealed and no longer lock your brush and inks. Okay, so like this is similar to Hades. It looks like, where you pick a set. So at first you can like start on higher epilogues, which are just going to make your game harder. Enemies deal more damage, gain 10% less gold. Yeah, standard stuff. But then you can also choose these like negative perks that give a little benefit. Within the epilogues will modify your journey. Here you can read more on the details of the rewards you'll earn and the challenges you'll face. You must complete earlier epilogues to read more stories, no reading out of order, more challenging epilogues. Okay, I'm not going to take any epilogues here, I just want to but know that this is in the game as well. So there is a system to make the game harder after your first run. I will start progressing through that on my own later on, I imagine. Looks like there's a lot there though. So here's your map, and this is gonna be this is where I feel the game is the strongest.
Ready, big guy?
I'll let them talk. So you have you can look around the map with your arrow keys, and you have these nodes on the map, which are like these are battles. This is a site that reveals all nearby tiles, and every battle will give you an ink, and I think elite battles give you a brush, which you use to explore the map. So if I were to walk here and I were to use a brush, for example, it's not optimal, but I will do it anyway so you can see how it works. You can use a brush here, and it'll reveal the nearby tiles to you. And so you progress through the map, and you learn, not really learn, but you use the tools that they give you to maximize your fights and maximize your pickups on the map so that you're as strong as possible for the boss. There are these vaults around, which you can pay 25 gold in the top right, and you get to pick a card. I will pick gain 16 block, gain a courage, or ally spiritless. This is a lot of, I'll explain all of this. I'll take the outlaw so we have an ally, and I'll explain how that works in the combat as well. And then a gem. When you play this, add a copy to your hand with no gems. Wait, that's insane. The other mechanic here for your deck is you get these gemstones, which you can then slot into your cards and give them an effect. Similar to Vault of the Void, if you played that. You add this to a card, and then the card will gain the effect. I will not do that. There's a limited number, and I want to put that on a good card. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fight a battle now. What do we got? Load time's looking a little grim here. It was not this bad when I played last night, but here we are. So, in combat, your 2 heroes are lined up. You can do damage to enemies however you desire. Enemies, pretty straightforward. They intend to attack, intend to buff. Here's health, there's 3 of them. Nothing too crazy. Your heroes will always take damage as to who is in the front, and you can move them through your cards. I don't have a card to move them, unfortunately, so we're just going to kind of go through it here. I think we'll do 12 damage to the guy with 12 health. And each character has a card set, and they are the one who does the attack themselves, if that ends up mattering. Sometimes it does, because like one hero will have a debuff on them, for example. Interesting note, very straightforward card battle system, right? You got your energy, number of cards in the draw pile, you draw 5 per turn, all of that stuff. The animations of drawing are very slow, as you can see. So main way that you deal with it, right? You deal with enemies targeting is you use block cards, or just any card, I guess. The cards that have the little arrows around the energy gem will move your unit to the front, and your units share block. There's no like, this guy has 6 block, she has 12 block, or something like that. It's a total of 12 block, and it just takes from the shared block pool. Then the last thing you need to learn about here to understand basically every mechanic in this game are allies. Allies are akin to powers. You put them down and they do a passive effect. So this guy here will give a dagger every turn. Dagger just attacks for 2 and exhausts. Dissolves in this game, but I'm going to call it exhaust. There's the stacks mechanic on it as well, which means that it stays in your hand and you can have any number of them and they only take up 1 card slot. And other than that, that's basically all of the mechanics. It's not super complicated, but there's a lot of room for expression of your skill in making sure you cycle your units correctly and building your deck and all of that. End of the combat, you get a reward, we get some money, and we get an ink. Combats are guaranteed to give you inks. This ink reveals 4 spaces in a straight line. And yeah, I'll play through the rest of the level so you can get a feel for it, but that's basically all there is to it. It's pretty straightforward. The gameplay system is good. Like, I enjoy exploring the map a lot. I think it's really, really fun. Gain 8 blocks, then attack the leading enemy for damage equal to your block for 2. Gain 2 block plus 2 block for each dagger in your hand. Charge, attack the leading enemy for 12. Let's try Mountain Fist. That seems good. I imagine that this is going to be a big complaint that a lot of people have given me. Also, you don't pay 25 gold to open the vault, you pay 25 gold to get the card, so I could have skipped there and not cost myself the money. But one thing that a lot of people have complained about in this game is the way that block cards don't have the keyword that moves your units around. I think that it's generally all of your blocks will move a unit, like move the character to the front, but there are also other cards that do it as well. Let's try and get over to this Rune of Sight. I think we can actually just do that with the ink, right? Yeah. The dark squares here, they are impassable tiles. Those are marked so that you don't waste your ink. And you are guaranteed a path to the boss. You're not guaranteed to be strong enough to fight the boss, is how it has been explained to me. And that makes sense. We'll take another fight. Generally, I feel like you just want to explore the map, take all the fights you can, and basically it. This guy gives Aura of Weakness. So whoever's in the front position does 33% less. So this is the sort of optimization stuff you can do, right? Where you can cycle your unit's position potentially, although I didn't need to in this case. And ×2. It's fine. I can't move Sarako to the front. It's been pretty unlucky. I haven't been able to move him to the front to block any of the actual big damage coming in. There's cards that you can pick up that will mitigate that. Like you can have an ally that lets you swap at will, for example. And yeah, Mountain Fist, even though it doesn't specifically say that it switches positions of your units. 21. Generally, Sorako is like he's your beefy frontliner, and then Shara has more aggressive-oriented cards, and her special is also aggressive. She gains power if she's in the front. This guy's kind of farming me. It's okay that we take a bit of damage here, I guess. I don't like it, but I think it's okay. That's what you see, that's a misplay. I should have moved her to the front first. We could have gotten 2 more damage out. This Seed Sower is very scary. I didn't outright explain it, but power, if you were wondering, is just increased attack damage. So the 3 power that she gets just gives her 3 more damage on her attack, and then it's reduced by 33% because of the weakness aura, and oh my, that's 21 damage. We'll cycle. That card that I played there said charge, which is why I didn't cycle first, because she would have ended up in the front again if I played it first. We want Sarako to be in front because at the end of the turn, if he's in the front, he gains 2 block as well. Deck feels pretty weak right now, but that is to be expected, I suppose. It is second combat. I think this guy's a really tough draw for second combat. The first combat was really easy, if you remember. This guy's not very easy. 8. We do 7, 7, 8 is enough, right? As long as I don't lunge first. But I think it wouldn't matter, because the power kind of cancels out the aura of weakness for damage output. Yeah, you can see the animation times though as I play, because I'm talking and I'm not really thinking about it too much, but it is definitely something that you will notice if you are playing it yourself and you're not distracted. Apply this pigment to your brush to reveal a space and all adjacent spaces within a radius of 2. So the Stardust pigment just means that our next brush use is not giving me an indicator of how big this is. I will just come over here and do another. Actually, I kind of want to explore a little bit, but there's a battle on the screen. I feel like unless you're full on inventory spaces, you can only carry 3 items at a time. So unless you're full on inventory spaces, I feel like you should go to all the battles first, but I'm not too sure. Let's just go to a battle, as long as it's not another CISO, right? Ooh. The Tiki Boy. So this guy's stealth, the way that stealth works in this game is he's only attackable if there are no other non-stealth enemies. So he's just gonna sit here. He also summons 3 reinforcements at the start of his, or at the end of our turn. He'll summon more enemies. They won't attack, but they will go. Yeah, this guy's a little scary. Tiki Elite. We can't... They rolled just out of range of our kill as well. This guy's 13 health instead of in range for 12. So I think we'll just do, like, strike, kill the front man, and then block. It'll take like 3 on Sorako, but it's okay. When you... This game does have a preview system, I should have mentioned sooner. When you hover over the end turn, it'll show you what is going to happen in the turn. So Sorako's going to take 2. Or 3, I should say. Oh, it's at the end of his turn that he summons the reinforcements. Okay. And he applies vulnerability. So, unlike the other one, unlike the aura, vulnerability will just be on Sorako. So I can move Shara up to the front and she will eat the vulnerability for us. I don't really want her in the front because it's scary. We can put up 16. This is 8, 13, 20. Alright. It's like, there's a few ways to go about this turn. I feel like the best thing to do is put up 14 block and just eat the damage. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I didn't realize Mountain Fist. It does say it, but it is leading in. So we overkill by 1. That's alright. It's gonna be a slow combat. They're rolling pretty high on the health pool, it feels like, but I don't actually know the range. So, hard to say, I suppose. It just feels rough. Here I will put, because he's taking 33% more, and he's just gonna keep taking it. I think this will be 4, 4, and 6, which is 10, 14, 19, if I were to move her to the front. And that would be 19, 9, it should take 5. And if I just play... I want to get the ally down so I start getting daggers, because we're just short of killing these enemies a lot of the time. I think we just take more damage. There are ways to heal in the game. And you'll also notice that at the end of the combat we don't draft a card. It is only through those card vaults, as far as I'm aware, that you add cards to your deck. As far as I've been able to tell anyway. We've just taken a lot of damage. I think we will lunge to the front here. And you can see now that he's been the back, the vulnerability, less of a problem. Still a problem, mind you. We're gonna take 9. If I do Mountain Fist, it's 8 block, but he's taking more damage. It's 5, 5, 7. It's 17 onto Sorako minus 8. So he's taking 9, or we're taking 9. So it is actually no difference. It's just who do we want the damage to go through on. Honestly, I think I'd rather have it go on Sorako. He might take a little less than 9 also. Maybe my theory is wrong about taking all the fights. He only takes 7. But yeah, maybe my hypothesis is incorrect, as I am getting a little bit smacked up here. Maybe you don't necessarily want to clear the map. Play it out like this. He's gonna take a little more damage. But we'll do some map exploration and we'll try to recoup a little bit of our health. There are ways to heal on the map, as far as I'm aware. I have no way to move Shara to the front, so I can't make use of her extra power. It's okay, we have the kill. But we have health to spend, that's what the health is there for. And we gain 3 precision inks, which will reveal 1 square. I'll go use one of these right here to get to this tower. And the tower reveals all of the nearby squares for us. Ah, perfect. Heal 10 health. Just gonna pop that right away.
Refreshing.
Grab the money, and we'll grab the narrative encounter. This is the equivalent of an event. Anyone living in the Empire would recognize the throne room. The adventurers stand before Magda, the Queen of Merival. She has summoned a mighty hero to be her champion. Only one may be granted this fate. Shara steps up, or Sorako sets up. So we upgrade her relic. Instead of dealing damage, Shara's cards inflict half as much bleed instead. Instead of blocking, Sorako's cards deal twice that much damage to the leading enemy. Oh, that sounds awful. That sounds really bad. I'll take the bleed. So bleed is just poison, but I think bleed doesn't decay. I haven't played it yet. Torn of magical energy pours forth from her blade. Go, my champion, speaks Magda. Cut down the enemies of the Empire. Okay. Cool. Let's take a little peep at this card here. What do you got for me? Gain 8 block, add 2 headbangs. Headbang is a card, 1 energy. Combo. Combo means that if the previous card was played by the ally, so if I play a Shara card, then this card costs 1 less. Gains 3 power for his next attack. Attack for 17, charge, end the turn. So this moves her to the front, does 17 and ends the turn. Each time Shara deals damage, this deals the same amount of damage and loses 1 spirit. So the other ally we have is spiritless, and it's just a passive. Mirror image is more of an active. It's 2 energy, and after 3 plays, it's gone. Spirit is the number in the bottom right, and it'll give us 3 copied attacks. I think mirror image is very good. I will take it. We're gonna make our way over to that tower. I think we can do that with just the 2 inks we have. Yeah, if you enjoy it, there's a lot of min-maxing you can do with ink usage. I really enjoy it, so I think it's really fun to just to try and plan out your ink usage. See an extra card when drafting from a Vault of Wisdom. Ooh. Wow, that's just a relic that's here on the map forever. I think that might have been what we unlocked at the start. So we get a 4th option here. Cool. Give a hero 3 power, exhaust. Both heroes gain 2 power till the end of turn, gain 4 block, attack an enemy for 12, and adjacent enemies for 6. Impact seems good because you can use this to cheat around stealth. Like if we had this in the Tiki combat, I could just kill the Tiki enemy. That was stealthed, right? And it's only 1. I'll grab this. Seems fine. Ah, and great, the talent tier. So, I think this is basically the last thing that you need to know about. But I feel like I've also said that a lot of times. For drafting cards to your deck, you get these talent tiers. So it basically rewards you for adding cards and not keeping the deck super small. You get to pick one of these 3 options, and I think that this is different. I was offered Hidden Blades, but I don't believe I was offered Quick Reflexes or Second Wind. So we get to pick one of these. We get start each battle with 4 daggers. Once per battle, click on Sorako to gain 15 block and move him to the front. Or at the start of turn 5, the heroes gain 3 power. I like Quick Reflexes a lot. I have not seen this. You can also change who is your starting front member by clicking on this menu. I have not done that yet, but perhaps in the future. Another event. Heroes come across a secluded shrine. A weeping stone woman sits quietly in a pool of her own tears. Looking at the statue, one feels a compelling urge to lay one's burdens at her feet. Transmute a card. Ah, we get to remove a card. I have not. This is the first time I've seen a card removal. I did not see one in my run last night. I'm gonna destroy a strike. And it's just gone. Oh, and we get to make a new card. Ooh. Attack for 7, gain 7 block. Gain 10 block, decrease the cost of a random card in your hand to 0 this turn. And then we also get to add a gem to it. This card's attack deals +3, gain 4 block, draw a card, discard a card. Let's make a big blocker, because I feel like you just make big blocks and then you find your damage scaling through bleed in this deck. Let's take Clash with +4 block.
Suitable.
Cool. The heroes stand from their prayer, they feel the light wash over them. Cool, cool. I still have this other gem, which is whenever you play this card, add a copy to your hand with no gems. I don't really feel too good about any of these because it's gonna be too expensive right now, but I'm gonna hold out for something. And I want to wrap this video up pretty soon, so I'm going to skip a few of the battles and we'll just go see the elite and the boss. And yeah, so I'm gonna go explore the map with the paintbrush a little bit, and then we'll wrap this one up. You get a pretty good feel for the game, I think, now. Oh, so the pigment that we got lets us pick where we put our next paintbrush. Look at that. Cool. I had not seen that pigment before. Take another heal.
Nice.
Rune of Sight. Reveal a random item on the map for us.
Let's take a look.
Ooh, there's an elite combat over there. Ah, so there's extra elites. Nice. Combo, gain 1 courage. Courage is gain energy at the start of your next turn, and you can stack it, so you can have 4 or 5, and then it'll give you the next 5 turns plus 1 energy. Pretty good, I think. High five. Actually, I kind of like this because you could... Yeah, let's grab this. Let's grab the high five. Here's what I'm thinking. We grab high five, we go to our deck, and we put the gem into it. And we'll get... we can then alternate and get 2 stacks of courage is what I'm thinking for free. We'll try that out. Yeah, overall, as we're walking around, my thoughts for this game in terms of like time that you would get out of it, I feel like this is a... I don't think this is a Monster Train like 1,000-hour game, but if you want to play another deck builder, this one's good. I'm having a good time with it. The number that pops up when I hover over this, by the way, is the number of tiles that will be revealed by it. In case you were wondering. Let's go do the elite, do the boss, and I'll wrap this one up. I think that, you know, generally you would want to be a little more efficient with your time. Oh, wait, one more thing I should do before we go. We can talk to Nadim, and he is the shop. He'll be at the start of each one. You can spend your gold here as well. He'll have 6 cards, 3 for each character. Add Shara's power to this ally's spirit. Oh. So this guy is an aggressive ally, battle brother. Aggressive allies attack for their spirit number every turn, instead of spending their spirit for an effect or not having spirit. So if I were to take battle brother, he would hit for 4 plus any power that Shara has. And since he has charge, it would be +3, except the sword is different, right? So if I had the other sword, this would move Shara to the front and have +3 to its power, so he would have 7 power. He would hit the front enemy for 7 every turn. I will grab the Therian Shield here, because I think this relic's really good. And you have to equip it. Some of the relics are passives, like Vault Key. It goes and it doesn't have to have an effect, but some of them go on a specific hero, like the shield, which we put on Sarako, and only he will have +1 block. It's a lot of information, but I'm trying to condense the mechanics of the deck builder down. I feel like I often over-explain things maybe a little bit as well, but I want to make sure that you get a handle on all of the mechanics. Boss fight is a Queen's Assassin. Or sorry, Elite fight. I have not seen this one before. It's going to put a major debuff on our frontmost enemy, or frontmost ally. I will put this on Sarako because I feel like it's going to be something scary. Bleeding creatures take this much damage at the start of each turn. Okay. So let's play... I'm going to play Mountain Fist, and we'll just let him take the 1 damage that he's going to take. And I want to start the bleed train, because it's going to... Instead of doing 7, this will do 3 bleed or 4 bleed. Let's see. 3 bleed. Okay, game rounds down. And +1 on his block. So now instead of taking 7 damage there, he just takes 3 unblockable damage at the start of every turn. Neat. What's the debuff? Ooh. 5 bleed. That cannot be blocked. He discarded one of his cards at the start of his turn, and he took 1 vulnerable. Wow, this looks really rough. This fight looks hard. So if I charge... I wonder how this works with the mirror image. I think the mirror image will not apply bleed, but I don't know. So we'll do mirror image. And then let's lunge to the front. How does this go? Did that work how I expected it to? I don't know. I'm gonna click Sarako and he's gonna move to the front and block now with that passive we got. So he gains 16 block and goes to the front. I don't know if that worked how I thought it would. That bleed that he's taken, and there's nothing I can do about it except rush the combat down. That's hardcore. Seems really rough. So we can set this guy to bleed out with a clash. I would not be surprised if I lose this combat, or I lose this run, because I did do a little shortcutting here. I think that if you do your min-maxing properly, you will do a lot better than I'm doing here. Yeah, okay, this mirror image does work how I would think it does. So basically, every attack that we play is just going to apply its full damage and bleed, except when you round down. I see. Looks like this Queen's Assassin also... No, never mind. I was about to say it looks like it only puts up one major debuff. That is incorrect. I'm a little worried about having Sarako take another... Like, if he bleeds for 10 every round, he's going to die really quickly. So we're going to not have him take this bleed hit. The adjacency lurks. Cool. This will do... This kills this man. The frontmost man will die from the bleed. The end turn will show that, yeah. Guess we blocked the one. We're gonna race the Queen's Assassin down before we bleed to death, I guess. Interesting that there's just nothing you can do about it, I guess. Discarded the dagger we generated. How dare you. Yeah, it's not too bad though. This is... I have seen at least one other elite other than this one. Oh, this is not a temporary copy you gain from High Five. I didn't realize that. I should mention as well, I do really like this game aesthetically. I think it looks really good. It's weird. I understand that it's weird. It is like it is a little jarring at first, but it grew on me pretty quickly. I was skeptical. At first I thought it looked a little strange, but I got used to it, and I went, oh yeah, you know what? I do kind of like this. Similar to Monster Train. Monster Train was a game that I thought looked very weird, and most people seem to think looked very weird at first, but you get used to it, and you go, oh yeah, you know what? I do like the way this looks. This is a pretty rough fight. We will probably die at the boss, but that's okay. We get a treasure. Whenever you consume an ink, reveal one adjacent tile at random. Ah, pile of gold. That's our page for meta progression, and we get a brush. I'm gonna just go burn these brushes and see if we can find a little healing. See what the Vault of Wisdom has today. Play only if Sarako is leading attack for 16. Here's Horsemaster. This is the guy I was talking about. He hits for 3 every round, and you can spend one of his spirit to swap your heroes. Draw 2 cards, put 2 on top. Kind of like Duel, just hit the enemy for 6 bleed. But I'll grab Horsemaster because, you know, I want to show off as many mechanics as I can here. This video is going to end up being a little bit longer, but that's okay. Give me the heart, please. Thank you. The game, it's not flawless. I do have moments like that where I walk onto that tile and nothing happens. You gotta be patient with it in that regard. I think it speaks, it's got a bit of jank that you'll get used to, but I think it speaks to the enjoyment of the game that I'm still recommending this game, even though it has its awkward moments. Grab Teamwork, combo, gain 10 block. Generally, I think that's more or less all my thoughts. I'll do the boss fight and we'll wrap up. Last time the boss... This was not who I fought last time. This is a... Everything is part of one creature. They share HP total. If it takes 25 damage, the Tiki Palanquin becomes weak. Takes 25 damage, it becomes vulnerable. Ah, okay. So you can debuff this boss with hitting the different parts of it. Interesting. I haven't fought an enemy that I didn't think had an interesting mechanic so far. Like, for the most part, all of the bosses have done something cool. Like, this is neat. The mechanics are... Like, it's cool. I like it. I think we can also stack up potentially bleed on this enemy to a point where it just gives us weak every turn. I'm going to focus on getting the weakness first. And it's just going to be one turn. I wonder how it works with bleed. Does it... I guess we'll see. I'll just do 7 and then 7 and move to the front. And he blocks? He blocks. And, oh my goodness. Okay, so it applies vulnerability and then it does a big smack afterwards. I see. That's a lot of damage. So I think we want to... We're gonna want to get the weakness down, so I want to play Strike, but I also want to play Teamwork. I can't play Teamwork though because of the combo on it. Because if I play Teamwork last, I'm going to push Sarako to the front and he's just gonna get smashed. I don't know what happens if one of your heroes dies. I imagine you lose if one of them dies, but I'm not sure. We gotta punch this guy. Actually, we don't have to punch him, come to think of it, because the Horsemaster will do 3 to the frontmost enemy. Okay, we don't actually have to, never mind. We can do Horsemaster, Teamwork, Defend. 35, and then we'll get Weakness, and Weakness will just mean 33% less damage, so that should be fine. Because Horsemaster does 3, Bleed does 4, Weakness goes through. I think the combat preview is wrong. Oh, the Horsemaster's effect is Bleed as well! Because he's one of her allies. Of course it is. The combat preview is right. I am the fool today. I'm sorry I doubted you, combat preview. Doesn't make sense, though. Weakness takes you down to 13. We would have been better off weakening on a different turn, but that's life, isn't it? Now we know. Go Strike, Defend, and move Sarako to the front, and block. And you can see he's glowing green here. If I wanted to, I could press the Horsemaster, spend a Spirit, and flip our positioning again. I do not want to, though. I apologize to the combat preview for doubting it. What a fool I was. Especially the animation time, you can see, is bad when you recycle the deck. That's where I think it is the most clearly not good. We can do a big hit here if we go... If we can press the... It's awkward because he's in the front, but we could do big Mountain Fist, Defend, click his plus 15 move. But I don't know if I really want to do that. I feel like I just want to keep stacking Bleed on the front bearer so that we eventually reach a point where he's getting weakened every turn. Let's do Strike. I could do Mirror Image Strike, Defend, but he's going to take a lot. Sarako's taking 27. And this is 6 Bleed plus 1, I think. So Horsemaster is really bad. Guess I could do... Well, let's go for the damage here. Let's go for Mirror Image. So this has 3 uses. Now it has 2. You're at 15. And I think I will use his quick reflexes here. Put up 16, 23, 25, 26? 26, okay. We're getting there. This is a slow build-up for this deck plan, but I think once we get going, especially if we pick up some more good cards to synergize with this deck could go far. But we'll kind of just see, right? Or actually, I guess we won't see because I'm ending after this. But nonetheless, let's do a lunge on the back bearer now, because we're basically there on the front man. He's gonna put weakness down every turn, more or less. I do not want to leave Shara in the front though. So vulnerability with bleed might be a bad combo. I think it might not be good. We're gonna see. It's gonna punch the boss. Oh no, the vulnerability stays. Okay, good news. Also, if I had thought about that, I would have moved Shara to the front there to take the vulnerability and then move Sarako out of the way. It's more of a didn't know the mechanic super well situation though than anything else. I'm liking this high five plan. This is pretty good. I think, anyway. If I press end turn, it's 26 tall. We want to make sure that I get the weakness applied. Oh, so I suppose that's just what we do. Now, It's just short, right? We're just short on the weakness. 9 block. I do... If I end turn, it doesn't tell me how much we're taking. I feel like I need to put the weakness up and then just hope, more or less, because... Yeah, I think we just put the weakness up and then we're okay, right? 19, yeah. We're alive. And I think we are pretty close with a little more... We're pretty close to having the kill with all this bleed stacked up now. Especially when the deck gets bigger, I imagine that gets pretty rough. What a cool fight, though. I really like this fight. I have not seen it before, but I think this one's pretty neat. We'll go ahead and we'll get the vulnerability or the weakness every turn. We can press end turn twice and it dies to bleed now, I think. Right, you're done? Done and dusted? Oh, 3 off, I gotta press a button. Now you're dead, right? Yeah, okay. There you go. And so after this, there are 2 more acts if you were to keep going. I'll go to the next act so you can see it at least. We'll wrap up the end of the act and you'll see the start of the next one. End of the boss fight, full heal, clears all wounds. I imagine wounds are negatives, I haven't seen one. You get to choose from one of 2 piles. You either get an epic gemstone or you get 3 cards. After you play this, return to the top of your deck at the end of your turn. That seems broken. That seems really broken. Another meta progression thing, you get 5 brushes for the next area, and you get a relic. Start of each battle, the equipped hero gains protection, block the first instance of damage. First time each turn, the equipped hero plays a card that costs 2 or more, draw 2. We'll put that on Sarako, maybe. Each time you play 5 cards in a single turn, deal 10 damage to a random enemy. Is okay. I think we'll just take Crystallis. That seems fine. Put it on Sarako. So after you, first of all, after you finish the boss, you cannot re-explore the map. You are done. And then you go chapter 2. There's 3rd chapter final. And yeah, just get another map and you do it again. Do it 3 times and that's the game. And yeah, I think that's all I have to tell you about it. You should have a pretty good understanding of the game and if you want to buy it or not. I think that this game is good. I enjoy it. I am a bit of a deck builder fiend, but it's fun. I think that we'll go through a quick list, pros and cons, I suppose is how I'll do it, positives and negatives, whatever you want to call it. I love the way that you explore the map. I think that Monster Train, Slay the Spire, they are games that are very, very good, but Monster Train, the map, like the movement between the battles is boring. It's just pick one of 2 sides. You could flip a coin and you could get through it. And in Slay the Spire, it makes my head spin. There's so many choices that you have to make, and it's very, very difficult. This game has a pretty good, really good, not pretty good, really good map exploration system. I think it's really fun to just paint out the map and try to plan, because you see where every battle is on the map. It looks like some extra elite battles can be hidden, but you see every battle, so you can plan to get to every battle and min-max your ink usage as much as you want. Or you can do it just really straightforward, right? I imagine you can also just kind of brute force it like we did, although on higher difficulties I think the map exploration will be pretty important. The battle system is fun. I really enjoy the way that you move your heroes around. I think it's a unique enough mechanic to set this game apart as a deck builder while also not being so complicated that it's like crazy, right? I think that if you get too complicated, you start to get like, oh, there's just too many keywords and too much to learn. This game doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that it is a little weak on the deck building side. I feel like you kind of just I don't know for sure, but I feel like you kind of just pick up some good cards and win. But I haven't played enough to really like see the entire card pool and go deck archetypes, right? I don't think that there's specific archetypes you run. I think you just play good cards, which is fine, right? It doesn't have to be like, oh, if you don't get this set of cards together, you just lose, right? It's fine. I don't have a strong feeling either way, but you don't end up drafting or seeing as many cards in a run as you do in Slay the Spire or Monster Train, I feel like, because it's just like vaults and 6 cards at the shops, right? And you can add more at the end of the floor, I suppose, but generally you go a long time without your deck changing, has been my experience. Because you go battle. I do anyway, because I go for all the battles first to get all the ink and maximize my information. On the downside, big downside is the animation time. Like, that is the #1 complaint that I think anyone will have. This game, the animations are very slow, especially if you're trying to play a lot of cards in a single turn. The animations are very slow, and it is a little painful. But from a clarity standpoint, the game does a pretty good job. You can hover the end turn and see what's going to happen in the turn, which is great. And I never really feel like the game... I haven't felt too surprised by what was happening. Every now and then, I will get surprised in games. I'll go, oh, I didn't expect that to happen with these deck builders. But this is a game that does a pretty good job of minimizing it. There's screen shake as well if you like it. I just auto-turn that off. And I should mention too, none came up in this, but I have experienced a few bugs. Not too bad, but I have had it a few times where I'll pick up a card, like I'll click a card to go play it, change my mind and try to set it back down, and when I release it in the hand, it'll get played. So there's like there's rough edges that you'll encounter as well. It's not a perfectly polished game, but it's worth your time. I think it's fun, and I think it's a good one. And yeah, that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'm hoping to... not sure what frequency I'll do this sort of series in, but if I see a game that looks cool and I think I want to try it, I will do a video like this for it. One on my radar that I've thought about doing for this as a follow-up, potentially, is Spellcaster University. I think that game looks kind of cool, so I might check that out. And I don't know, you can also let me know if there's games that you think I should check out. Please feel free here or in Monster Train. I'd be happy to take a look, at least. A good way for me to filter through all the games that people tell me to check out, but I go, when would I do that? This is pretty low commitment, just like 45 minutes of sitting down playing the game and giving my thoughts, and yeah, if you guys really like it, I could do more. Let me know. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one, and have a good one. Goodbye.